Loud here. One thing about me is that I'm a tad clumsy. I run into things, I spill things on myself, the whole shebang. Despite this, I haven't injured myself too much, but the times I have, it's been an experience. Including the time I busted my chin open on an electric scooter. The earliest I can remember injuring myself was in first grade. We had just moved into a house, and me and my sibling were moving boxes out of our room on the second floor. As we were doing this, I had a thought. What if I slid down the stairs in a box? So the thing is that I am impulsive. If a thought crosses my mind, I tend to follow it. This was especially true back when I was a kid. So I set a box down, sat inside, leaned forward, then zoom! I flew down the stairs at top speed, then crash. I rammed right into a wall, head first. My mom heard the wondrous thud from my collision and came over to see Amy on the floor, crying just outside the box I slid in. I didn't have a concussion or anything like that. My head was just in pain. My mom gave me a stern lecture about the stunt I pulled. After checking if I was okay. The next injury story is around 4th grade. Let's go with the time I twisted my ankle first. Okay, so me, my younger sibling, and some neighbor kids were hanging out on the driveway of our house, and I was showing off my scooter because instead of a bike, I rode a scooter as a kid. I decided to ride down the driveway as fast as I could, which is what I did. Which is why, when the front wheel of my scooter caught the crevice of the cement of the driveway, I lost my balance and fell over. I didn't scrape anything, but my right ankle was in a lot of pain, to the point that I went inside, told my parents what happened, and it was concluded I had twisted my ankle, so they wrapped it up in bindings and I propped it up for a week. Fun fact, this incident is the reason why I have Cora's design wrap her ankles in bindings so she can prevent twisting her ankle. Another story from 4th grade, it was recess and I spotted a spare swing, so I started booking it to the swing. I got a tad bit of tunnel vision, so I didn't notice how close I was to I got to the other kids swinging, so just as I was about to get that swing, whack! Suddenly, I'm kicked in the stomach, and I'm knocked out for a few seconds. When I wake up, there was a teacher and a few kids looking me over. I spent the rest of the day being in pain and miserable. This next one isn't really an injury, but I feel it's more to mention. My eye surgery. This took place when I was 13. I was hanging out with a friend and my younger sibling. We were goofing off, but my friend noticed some unevenness of my hips and torso. One of my hips was higher than the other. That freaked me out, so when I got the chance, I brought it up to my dad. We went to the chiropractor a few days later and got some x-rays, and we found out I had a very severe case of scoliosis. We got some more evaluations by a doctor in my hometown, and the conclusion was I needed surgery because this case was so severe that if I didn't get fixed, I wouldn't be able to walk by now. Still, the idea of getting surgery absolutely terrified me to the point I cried 5 separate times whenever it was brought up. I got that surgery in the summer. I ended up losing my appetite due to the effects of the anesthesia and the pain. I got it back after a few days, but the pain was still immense. I fully recovered after 3 weeks. Ended up spending 4th of July in bedridden. I still have regular back pain if I lift too much or if the weather gets bad. My back is a zipper now. Another injury I got in middle school was the common scraped knees. I was hanging out with some neighbor friends, and one of the smaller kids started chasing me. I started running, but then I tripped, fell straight into the concrete, and busted my knees open. When I went inside, got some bandages, and was in pain for a week. I now have a scar on each knee from the fall. Now, I mentioned earlier that I had busted my chin while riding that electric scooter. This is very recent compared to the previous injuries. It was my first year of community college, and there was a debacle about how I was getting to and from school. I had been walking or getting a ride from my dad. I didn't have my learner's permit yet, so driving myself wasn't an option. My older sister was advocating that I get and learn how to ride a bike. I wanted an electric scooter because I was more familiar with it. Around my birthday, my dad got me the scooter. My sister was still on the fence about it, but I was certain it would be okay. It was not. It didn't last a week. On the third day of owning the scooter, I was riding home from class listening to music when all of a sudden the handle disconnects from the footboard and I'm launched into the pavement face first. I slowly stood up. A driver nearby asked if I was okay, to which I said I was. Don't know why she took my word for it after seeing my face. I realized I was bleeding. I freaked out, gathered the parts of my scooter and walked to a nearby store and called my dad, hoping he was on lunch break. Thankfully, he was. He picked me up and had a horrified look on his face when he saw me. We used napkins in the car to keep me from bleeding on everything. When we got home, my dad told me to clean up my face. When I went to the bathroom to wash my face, I noticed the source of the blood, a nice little gash in my chin. My dad initially thought it was a scrape, but upon further inspection, yep, it was a gash. My dad called his work saying he'd be back late and took me to urgent care. When we were seen, the doctor asked why we were there. I removed the napkins from my chin, and she audibly went, "Oh God." I needed 5 stitches because it was too deep with glue. I do have pictures, but I'm not going to show them because they're pretty gnarly. While along with my chin, I have busted a lip and a scrape on the bridge of my nose, which I didn't notice because of my glasses. Took about a week to heal and got a new scar on my chin. And we sold the scooter. I now have a bike and a learner's permit. I haven't hurt myself that severely since then, but I have gotten minor injuries. What kind of injuries have you guys gotten? Got any scars? I'll be signing off, so in the meantime, stay loud, stay proud.